My first tip for playing as the pig in Dead by Daylight is to not waste time crouching, especially not at the beginning of the match. It's really good to get jump scares, but don't waste time crouching unless you're absolutely certain that there's a survivor in front of you, that there's a survivor nearby you. Crouching takes up a lot of time, and time is really precious in this game, especially when you're playing as the pig. Something that's helpful is noticing the behavior of the survivors. For example, I have noticed that if you're chasing a survivor in a loop and you crouch, they tend to leave the loop. So yeah, that is something to take note of. Something that helps understand the behavior of the survivors and their typical pathing is Amanda's Letter if you're just starting out playing as a pig. Amanda's Letter is an add-on that allows you to see the auras of survivors around you within a certain radius. I used Amanda's Letter a lot when I was first starting out playing as a pig, and I think it helps you understand the pathing of survivors and what they typically do when they're in chase, since you can see their aura. Understanding the purpose of the reverse bear traps is also a very important thing when you're playing as a pig. The purpose of the reverse bear traps is game slowdown, not necessarily the deaths. So whatever you do, do not rely on the reverse bear traps for deaths. Although it's incredible when you are given a death from the reverse bear traps, that's not their inherent purpose. Their inherent purpose is game slowdown. Since it complements her power, I do feel that the pig is best or most safely played with the slowdown build, for example using No Holds Barred. I do find that information builds can be very useful on her as well. For example, the aforementioned Amanda's Letter, as well as Surveillance. One perk that pretty much stays consistent when I play Amanda, though, is Whispers. I think it's so beneficial. It basically tells you when you're nearby survivors, so you can have a better idea of when to crouch. And when you pair that with Surveillance, the generators are louder, so you get a very clear picture of where the survivors are. Corrupt Intervention is a really good perk for the beginning of the game when playing as a pig, and I've seen other creators also mention that they like using this perk for the pig as well. I'm not going to go ahead and say that my build is the best build to use for the pig, but I do know that Corrupt Intervention is a really good perk for her for the beginning of the game, and you can use your traps later on in the game. Then No Holds Barred is also a good perk to use on the pig. And I never see anyone talk about it, but I do think that Whispers is a really good perk for her, but I never really see anyone else using that except for me, so I don't know. My next tip would be to not overlook the brown add-ons like Shattered Syringe and Combat Straps, because those can be really useful when you're doing ambush attacks on survivors. My final tip is a little bit hard to verbalize, but if you're going for an ambush attack, and you're going to do the mind game where you switch directions in a split second, a lot of survivors are already familiar with that mind game. So you want to look really committed to the first direction that you're going in before you switch directions. So if you think you should switch directions, wait another half second and then switch directions. And I feel like that has the best results usually. If you agree or disagree with anything that I said, feel free to leave a comment. It's my first time making a video like this, so if you liked it, definitely let me know. I'd like to hear your perspective on things, if you agree or disagree with anything that I said. I only have so many hours in the game. I'm really not the best player ever, but I have been playing the pig for a while, and she's my favorite character, so hopefully this helps out some people who are just starting out playing the game and stuff like that, and hopefully you found it interesting. If you want me to make more content like this too, definitely let me know. I might make some more. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.